We are recording. Welcome to Let's Talk About It Tuesday. I'm Georgette. I'm the mom.
And I'm TJ. I'm the son.
And we both study and work in the field of psychology, and we are passionate about sharing what we know with you so that you can live your best life. So today we're going to talk about social awkwardness.
I have a feeling this will be fun. I was just informed of this, so I don't know what's going to happen.
Awkward.
Ooh, you just made it like that. Thanks.
I consider myself socially awkward. Okay. Do you? Consider
me?
you?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it always depends. It always depends, I think, on the situation. I would say in general, probably not.
Yeah, I would say for you, generally not. You don't come across that way.
I think it depends.
It literally pains me to be in a quiet room, whether it's an elevator, classroom, even Zoom. The result is me just babbling incessantly.
Yeah,
followed by
it's so rough. Dude, it's so obvious.
Followed by, an episode of self-criticism for babbling and looking stupid, right? So it's just this pattern I have.
Cycle.
The one good thing, though, that's come out of the COVID pandemic is that I finally fit in. There are more and more socially awkward people. So that to me has been something that I can laugh about and enjoy a little bit. There is a difference, though, between actually being socially awkward and feeling socially awkward.
Well, of course. Many
of us feel socially awkward. And like you said, sometimes it's situational. For me, it's dispositional. I'm pretty much always socially awkward. But what happens is when you feel socially awkward, you just come across as being like quiet, shy, nervous, or insecure.
Well, you're always more likely going to feel like you are than actually be that because we're our own worst critics, right?
Right. What really being socially awkward are those people who we sometimes feel like, or we probably describe them as like clueless jerks, right? They have no idea they're actually socially awkward. And these people, as I start talking about this, you'll be like, oh yeah, I talk to that person all the time. They make others people feel uncomfortable, right? They say awkward things. They make inappropriate jokes. Their timing is bad. They seek attention.
Oh my gosh. I think it's me.
You really are socially awkward.
It's me, dude. I'm super socially awkward.
No, you're not. You don't make me feel, I don't make people feel uncomfortable. They aren't really aware that they're the ones breaking these social norms that we have. So that's really what
I make inappropriately bad jokes, not inappropriate jokes.
Right. And you do that for the right reasons. You don't do them because you don't know how to contribute to the conversation in a healthy way. You don't do them to seek attention.
How do they? Well, maybe sometimes.
But usually it's self-deprecating.
Yeah, it usually is.
Yeah. So basically, when you're socially awkward, that really means is that you're insensitive to appropriate accepted behavior, or you're ignorant, or you just have this huge need for attention or a desire to rebel. And I think that doesn't really apply to most people. So I would say most people probably aren't actually so socially awkward. They just feel it in certain situations. Mm-hmm. Regardless, though, if you are somewhat awkward, what researchers at Oxford University found is that you probably have an unusually intense focus. And you tend to gravitate towards interests that are governed by rules. And when you think about those nerds in our life, we think about nerds. Boundaries. Yeah, they have these intense interests that make them seem a little weird, right? But they just really are totally interested in that particular subject. And I think that applies a little bit to me too, because I'm kind of a nerd about certain things. Certain things really interest me that don't interest other people, right? To the level that most people want to talk about, which is kind of why we're doing this podcast, right? But people got tired of hearing us. And I also tend to be a rule follower.
Yeah, you do.
So
yes, you do. Yeah. Yes, check.
So it can be a good thing, though. We like to study those different components, put them back together. Let's see. There is that association between awkwardness and having a specialized talent. So maybe instead of starting every conversation with, oh, I'm sorry, I'm a little socially awkward, I'll just start by saying, oh, I'm sorry, I have a specialized talent. Right? That's not going to be awkward.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, I have a specialized talent. My name is.
Right. I couldn't have made that any more awkward if I wanted to, right?
Or it's like someone's like, have a good day, or it's like, have a good lunch, like someone like you getting food from like, hey, you too, and they're like, not going on lunch.
Right.
Like, no.
I hate when that happens.
Hey, how you doing today? How are you?
Right. So if you really are socially awkward, take that focus that you have and study the rules for, instead of intensely focusing on like aerospace engineering, focus on good conversation, small talk, learn and get an interest in that and use those rules. Figure out and own the why. For me, I'm socially awkward because it's my personality. I'm slightly neurotic and I'm introverted. And so those things don't go well with small talk. They just don't. So, I know that about me. I can own it, and I just, work with what I have. You can also learn like what your triggers are. When do you feel awkward? What situations? You mentioned that in some situations you feel awkward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's all that we can do is realize where it happens, what we can do to consciously not make it happen, and then continue to practice it until it becomes something that's a little bit easier, a little more habitual.
Right. I'm sorry. I'm looking for my cursor thing. So for me, what that means when I know what my triggers are, one of them is having to go to like a social gathering. So I know that's awkward for me. So the first thing I'm going to do when I show up is ask how I can help. What can I do? Can I do the dishes? Can I do something? Let me do something, because if I do something, I'm less likely to feel anxiety, which creates my, social awkwardness.
Oh, interesting.
Keeps my mind away.
My first go-to is if there's any outdoor element, get outside.
Oh,
Fresh air, feel it, walk around, check out the backyard, get comfortable, scout the peeps.
Yeah, I like that.
And then penetrate when you see someone you know.
Right.
And if you don't know anybody, you just kind of shimmy in.
Own it, right?
Or you just tell them that you're a therapist, and that's the easiest thing in the world.
Oh yeah, because then they'll start pouring our things.
Easy. That's easy.
That's why you actually doing this. I like to keep busy because it takes my mind away from that inner dialogue that I have. That creates my anxiety. That is self-defeating.
Those automatic thoughts that are coming from false core beliefs that you have about yourself and your situation, Mom.
Right. I have to realize that it's not the situation that's causing the anxiety; it's me. Right? And I have to think about what's the worst that can happen, right? They also say be purposeful.
Intentional questions.
Right.
Have a game plan about the person. I'm sure you have a good idea of what you can talk about.
Right. If I go in thinking that I'm going to fail, there's self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm just going to allow myself to happen. But so be purposeful. Go in like with a plan. Go in with some ideas. What did you think about things you've been exposed to recently? What's interesting? Because you can use that as a conversation. Remember that you're not as important as you think you are. And we've talked about this before. Most people really don't care, right, about the things we care about. Yeah.
Ouch. Hurts every time. I gotta do me like that.
No one expects you to be perfect. Remember that. And then let it go, right? Let it go. I was expecting.
Let it go.
There you go.
Let it go. Can't hold you back anymore.
And be kind to yourself, right? That's the other thing
Conscious
you can
empathy.
do. One thing that I thought, because I struggle with this, is how to master the art of small talk. Because if I know this, and when I go into those social situations, maybe I'll feel a little less awkward. So the first strategy is to be present. Listen and pay attention. We're listening to other people. We're not, again, listening to that inner dialogue that we have going on in our heads, right?
Yeah, no, I get you. No, I don't know. I'm just thinking about I don't know. I just don't get it. Like small talk, especially if you don't know somebody, there's just endless questions that you can ask.
Yes.
There is no small. It's like, what's your favorite color? Okay. Now, what's your favorite color to wear? And now see if it's the same.
Right.
Then you ask them, what was the name of their kindergarten teacher? Yeah. And then you just keep asking random questions. And then you don't stop.
Yes.
So where's the problem?
Where's the problem?
Where's the confusion? Just keep asking questions.
It's because people don't know to do that.
I'm just playing. And it's weird if you keep asking
Everything that you said is actually on my list as usual, right? We need to focus on the other person, which you say asking questions, right? I've got a whole list on asking questions. There's another strategy, fake it till you make it. So teacher and I were talking about this yesterday. You can change your emotions by changing your behavior. You can go, I already said, I don't like social situations. If I smile my way through it, I will have a better time because my brain sees my muscles doing something and it's going to associate that with an emotion. So if I fake a smile, my brain's going to say, oh, she's happy. Be happy, right?
Yeah, like you said, I mean, fear just in general. If you continue to do a behavior, even though you feel a lot of fear, your kind of inner dialogue will eventually latch onto the behavior that you're doing, because that is actually what you are doing, you know, with your body and with your behavior, which is kind of the ultimate goal. Your thoughts, emotions eventually lead into some type of purposeful behavior that your body deems to be biologically advantageous. So just when you continue to do it and then have control over those emotions, or continue to do the behavior with that mindset that we were kind of talking about, it's going to help you not even fake it till you make it, fake it till you become it. So it becomes a subconscious thought pattern until it becomes a normalized response that the brain deems it worthy of having a pathway, so that you are more likely to have it even when you are not necessarily paying attention.
Mic drop.
Which is about 50 to 80% of the time the human mind tends to wander while we are conscious. It means 50 to 80% of the time you do not have a conscious focal point.
Ooh.
You are reacting to something that is being taken in from your nervous system.
Practice and reflect. Here's an interesting one, and we were talking about this the other day too. Take an improv class. I need to do that. I need to take an improv class. I think that would be fun. It would push me.
That'd be rough.
Yeah, it would be rough too. Partner with somebody who's more socially skilled. Watch for the cues going around you.
Partner with people in general. Even if you both aren't socially skilled, at least you guys could just stand by together.
Right. Channel your curiosity. Ask appropriate and curious questions about people. Especially like if you notice something good about them. Like, oh, I love that dress. Where did you get it? Or I noticed you did this. How did you learn to do that? Kind of a thing. So, you know, because if you just ask questions, sometimes they'll just give you a one-word answer. So it's asking questions, but tying it into something that they're interested and you appreciate, because that will help you deepen that conversation a little bit. You can even ask silly questions. So like that first one, those questions, that takes a lot of effort, but start with silly questions too. I like to address the elephant in the room sometimes, because really the point is just to get people talking. People actually appreciate you for getting the ball rolling, you know, because a lot of people are in the same situation. You know, we're all like waiting to see who's going to break that silence first, right?
Yep.
Add some juicy tidbits. Like I was saying earlier, if you've read something, if you've heard something, if you watched something, you know, think about bringing that into the conversation. But again, do it at the appropriate time. Otherwise, you know, you will be that socially awkward person, not just feeling it, right? There's an acronym FORM: family, occupation, recreation, and motivation. Those could be cues for you to frame questions around. People always like to talk about themselves. They really do. So you can use that acronym to kind of remember some.
I like that. Family, occupation, recreation, and motivation. And then try to ask questions in those ballpark. That is a good question. Yeah. I like that. Form your questions. Form your way out of social awkwardness.
I like that. Form your way out of social awkwardness. That's good. And the other one I liked was that fake it till you become it. Those are things I'm going to remember, right? So this week, what we'd like you to remember, that the cause of your doubts about your social interactions may stem from the fact that you're sensitive, thoughtful, overly attuned. Maybe you overthink. There's some reason why. So maybe get familiar or comfortable with what that is. Own it, and realize that it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just what makes you you, right? If you're truly awkward, then maybe appreciate the fact that you have this unique perspective and this deep interest in a particular topic that can make you unique and interesting. So play on that as well, regardless of who you are and why you are. Do you use your strengths, make a plan, and challenge yourself, keep moving forward. Have a great week. We will see you next Let's Talk About It Tuesday.